Hello, everyone. I am Kiana Vu, a PhD student at State University of New York at Albany. It is my honor today to present my paper titled Trustworthiness in Vision Language Models. As the name suggests, this work focuses on reviewing the current trustworthiness issues with vision language models, summarizing some existing mitigation methods for those issues, and outlining future research directions for the topic. There have been some surveys on trustworthy vision language models, but existing works have yet to provide juxtaposition of issues, mitigations, and potential research. As such, this paper also aims to contribute a novel, informative perspective to the literature on trustworthiness in vision language models. Before we start, I also want to mention that the paper is co-authored by Dr. Fulbright from SUNY Albany. This is the structure of the presentation. After some introductory information about the motivation for the paper, I will go into the trustworthiness issues one by one. They include privacy, fairness and bias, robustness, and safety. In each of these sections, I will present the current issues as well as existing mitigation methods. Then I will provide an overview of some future research directions, and the rest of the presentation will be dedicated to concluding remarks, cited references, and the contact information for the authors. Here is an overview of the trustworthiness issues and the mitigation methods that will be discussed in our paper. To begin the presentation, our work is motivated by the observation that in recent years, vision language models, or VLMs, have made significant progress in understanding and generating multimodal content, excelling in tasks like image captioning, visual question answering, and visual storytelling. State-of-the-art models such as Lava, Flamingo, and GPT-4 showcase enhanced perceptual and semantic capabilities across various datasets. However, despite these advancements, trustworthiness remains a critical issue that can undermine the reliability and societal applicability of these models. Models that expose private data, produce harmful outputs, or are vulnerable to attacks can lead to privacy, security, and fairness violations and compromises them. Therefore, addressing privacy, fairness, robustness, and safety challenges is crucial for the safe and responsible use of VLMs. The first issue that I will discuss today is privacy. As VLMs advance, concerns about privacy exposure grow. These concerns can be divided into two main categories as follows. The first one is direct privacy leakage. So in this scenario, privacy risk can arise from training data, particularly when collectors fail to implement adequate safeguards, resulting in non-anonymized information in datasets. This leaves users with less control and a higher risk of leaks, especially since many VLMs use crowdsourced data. Research indicates that while text-only models are less likely to leak information, the risk escalates significantly with relevant images, as optimizing attacks in the pixel domain is much easier than in text. Therefore, additional filtering is necessary during training to mitigate these risks, highlighting the importance of careful examination before deployment. The other category is indirect privacy leakage. Privacy threats from inference attacks remain a concern even with trusted cloud services. These attacks can reveal if specific data were used to train a model. They can infer properties of training data or expose sensitive information. Vulnerabilities in vision language models highlight the need for better privacy measures as a result. VLMs can unintentionally memorize sensitive data, leading to leaks without knowledge of the model specifics. Overfitting may also cause retention of sensitive attributes during inference. Additionally, threats like gradient-based and backdoor attacks further jeopardize VLM privacy, particularly with open source data. To enhance privacy in vision language models, quantifying risk is crucial. Currently, some metrics have been created to assess a model's ability to reproduce training instances and to facilitate cross-model comparisons. It has also been suggested that models utilizing multiple modalities provide better privacy. Training modifications can also improve privacy. For instance, safety models can be integrated to boost resilience against violations, while adversarial training can enhance privacy, even though they risk reducing accuracy. Some researchers have proposed new architectures, such as a differently private clip model. However, others contend that existing methods like data sanitization and differential privacy are inadequate, often failing to protect identifiable information. Furthermore, privacy leakage can still occur even with privacy-inducing prompts. These challenges underscore the need for mitigating privacy risks in VLMs. Bias mitigation and fairness are another critical concern for VLMs, especially since social biases can be present and propagated by these models. We focus on bias in two key areas in this paper. One's from training data, the other one from model outputs. Bias in training data can often go unnoticed, resulting in unfair model outcomes. That is especially concerning with open source datasets. For instance, the Google Conceptual Captions dataset disproportionately features men and lighter-skinned individuals, while Cocoa Captions associates gender with context. ImageNet also has issues with outdated vocabulary and imbalanced representation. These biases raise concerns about performance and benchmarks of many VLMs, since a number of them are trained on these open source datasets. State-of-the-art models may also excel on test sets, but can still show biases in real-world applications, which will impact generalizability. Moreover, datasets reflecting real-world biases, like skewed labor demographics, can misrepresent reality. Research also indicates that models used in clinical settings may favor certain patient groups based on gender, language, etc. And as I mentioned before, even when bias in training data goes unnoticed, it still significantly affects the outputs of VLMs, especially when datasets are inaccessible. Many pre-trained VLMs exhibit stereotypical biases, which can have serious implications in fields like healthcare. Gender biases are common in tasks such as occupation prediction. Moreover, misclassification of race-related elements and biased outputs further highlight these issues. Such biases can negatively impact users and reinforce harmful stereotypes, underscoring again the urgent need for a fair system. To tackle bias in VLMs, accurate risk assessment is essential. Existing evaluation datasets like Harvard Fair VLM Met, PADA, and BOLD enhance evaluations, but they often lack the scale of established benchmarks. As a result, researchers have created synthetic datasets to improve fairness assessments. These datasets include a gender-balanced dataset generated with DOL E3 and another consisting of gender-swapped images. Other researchers developed a counterfactual image-text pair dataset that highlight biases in datasets like Cocoa Captions. New metrics, such as gender polarity and bias distance in embeddings, support these assessments. However, generating multiple counterfactuals can be inefficient, which then necessitate human evaluation to validate fairness, and emphasizing the need for well-constructed benchmarks. Another method to combat bias in AI models is to use de-biasing strategies, which can include fine-tuning instructions and post-processing outputs. Some researchers adjust model instructions and architectures for improved fairness, while others focus on detecting biased prompts in pre-trained models. Methods like post-hoc bias mitigation effectively reduce bias in image retrieval tasks. Others maintain accuracy during post-processing. Resampling underperforming clusters can also enhance fairness, and modification of facial features also mitigate biases. Additionally, self-debiasing can reduce bias text generation, especially when paired with other methods, and fair sampling and feature clipping also significantly lower gender bias in image searches. With respect to robustness, we present two aspects on out-of-distribution and adversarial attack robustness. For out-of-distribution robustness, recent research highlights challenges in foundation models like ChatGPT and multimodal large language models. ChatGPT excels in adversarial tasks, but it struggles with OOD robustness and informal medical responses. Multimodal large language models often fail to generalize beyond training domains due to mapping issues, while these models also face difficulties with open domain concepts, especially when they are overfitting during fine-tuning. Large pre-trained image classifiers also show initial robustness, which can diminish over time. Current visual question answering models are limited to specific benchmarks, which hinder the generalization to out-of-distribution datasets. Some techniques like SDRO can enhance performance, but existing prompt learning methods lack robustness for novel classes, and sometimes fine-tuning may impair the model calibration in OOD context as well. In case of adversarial attacks, VLMs are vulnerable to malicious attacks that exploit their limitations. Adversaries can introduce small, imperceptible perturbations in image inputs, generating adversarial examples that can disrupt model performance. In addition, they can also perform backdoor attacks, which use poison training data that can lead to model misbehavior during inference. Studies have indicated that open-source VLMs show performance gaps in red teaming tasks, highlighting the need for improved safety and security. Additionally, misalignment between language and vision modalities are known to create a modality gap, which can complicate adversarial vulnerability. With respect to mitigation methods for out-of-distribution robustness, recent research in VLMs have aimed to enhance OOD detection and generalization. A simple maximum locket detector has been shown to outperform complex methods for anomaly segmentation. In-context learning can also improve multimodal generalization. A fine-tuned clip excels in unsupervised out-of-distribution detection, while denoising in-context in learning can enhance vision model performance. The OGen method synthesizes out-of-distribution features, while another one improves prompt tuning for OOD detection. Maximum concept matching allows visual and textual features, and anchor-based fine-tuning leads to better domain shifts. Other studies have focused on utilizing distillation and prompt learning to boost robustness. To defend against adversarial attacks, we can refer to techniques like VILA. So VILA is a two-stage framework for adversarial training of VLMs, featuring task-agnostic adversarial pre-training and task-specific fine-tuning. So VILA conducts adversarial training in the embedding space rather than on raw image pixels and text tokens, and it improves the model's resilience against adversarial examples. VILA uses a free adversarial training strategy with KL divergence regularization. When applied to existing VLMs, VILA sets a new state-of-the-art performance across various tasks, highlighting the effectiveness of embedding space training for enhancing model robustness. To discuss safety issues with VLMs, we can start with the risk from toxicity. So in this scenario, the Lion 400 billion datasets, for example, has been found to contain problematic content, including explicit materials and harmful stereotypes. And that raises concerns for stakeholders. Pre-trained large language models can also exhibit biases and varying toxicity across languages. The models also face safety vulnerabilities that require thorough evaluation. Advanced models like Gemini Pro Vision and GPT-4V show inherent biases, highlighting the need for greater robustness. Additionally, pre-trained models can also generate toxic text from benign prompts, with current methods failing to fully mitigate this issue. Assigning personas to ChatGPT can also increase toxicity and reinforce harmful stereotypes against certain groups. Recent studies have also exposed vulnerabilities in VLMs to adversarial inputs. Some adverse images have been shown to jailbreak VLMs, leading to harmful responses and poisoning the context of response generation. Preservation can be performed much more effectively now, while the fixed state method can convert harmful content into images with an attack rate of over 80% across multiple models. There was also another attack that replaces captions with malicious prompts to enable jailbreaks in VLMs. Given those risks, there have been several attempts to propose mitigation methods for VLMs against these safety threats. Uh, for example, we can fine-tune VLMs with the VL core dataset that has been shown to enhance safety while maintaining helpfulness, resulting in better rejection of unsafe instructions and lower adversarial attack success rates. The safety of models like CLIP can also be fine-tuned on synthetic data, reducing sensitivity to not suitable for work inputs and enhancing performance in cross-modal tasks. Models can also be strengthened against jailbreak attacks through integration of safety modules during training, effectively reducing toxic responses. Additionally, analysis of how prompts and training data impact language model toxicity results in an unsupervised method that can effectively reduce toxicity without requiring large datasets, outperforming supervised baseline in quality. Meanwhile, the reinforced detoxify approach uses reinforcement learning to mitigate toxicity and bias in transformer models. Other researchers critique toxicity evaluation methods, highlighting that while SQL mitigations improve automatic scores, these methods still risk over-filtering marginalized text and can create discrepancy between automatic and human judgments. So that concludes the section on the existing issues and mitigation methods with trustworthiness issues in VLMs. Now I will move on to the future research directions with respect to these issues and methods. Here is a table that summarizes some potential future research directions into trustworthiness in VLMs. For each of these directions, I will provide a short summary of the techniques, methods, and issues that they involve or address. So to start with, privacy. We have a direction called cryptography-based privacy preservation. So cryptographic security is a very valuable approach to enhancing the privacy and trustworthiness of VLMs. For example, secure multi-party computation is a technique that divides secret information into shares among multiple parties, ensuring that individual shares reveal nothing unless combined. There have since been proposals for SMPC frameworks designed for transformer models. Homomorphic encryption is another technique that allows computations on encrypted data without decryption, and that has also been utilized for privacy preservation in transformers. Federated learning is another strategy that can enhance privacy in vision language models. It does so by localizing model training, which protects training data from leakage. Researchers have adapted prompt-based learning for VLMs in this context and have managed to improve training efficiency. However, challenges remain, such as on communication overhead among devices and statistical heterogeneity from diverse data distributions. Data can also be manipulated and fine-tuned to improve privacy. The techniques involved include data pseudonymization, which substitutes sensitive information with synthetic alternatives. Another one is data sanitization, which removes duplicates to reduce memorization and privacy risks. And knowledge sanitization, which involves fine-tuning models to provide safe responses when leakage risks arise, are also some emerging strategies. Further exploration is still needed regarding the effectiveness and contextual definition of sensitive information in these approaches. Regarding fairness and bias, improving fairness in VLMs can be achieved through effective debiasing methods. Additive residual learning has been proposed as a method for fairer image representations. Calibration loss can also be used to retain semantically stable embeddings. Meanwhile, a counterfactual inference framework has been shown to help models learn correct responses through cause and effect. Additionally, adversarial classifiers that predict image attributes from visual textual similarities can be combined with instruction tuning to reduce bias. These methods require minimal changes to model architecture, allowing for easier integration into larger VLMs. Disentangled representation learning is another technique that can improve fairness and bias. Uh, DRL simplifies complex data by breaking it into independent feature groups that can improve model predictions. So traditional disentangled representation learning methods use variational autoencoders for feature encoding based on impact, or generative adversarial networks for separation. In vision language models, attention in-text encoders can also be adjusted for fairer outputs. However, some challenges still persist due to the varying definitions of disentanglement, indicating a need for further research to effectively ensure fairness. As machine learning models become more complex, there is also a growing interest in integrating human intervention into their training to improve precision and fairness. Human-in-the-loop approaches include active learning, reinforcement learning with human feedback, and explainable AI. These methods can help reduce bias in model outputs, but they still face challenges such as human bias, finance, and ethical and legal issues. To improve the robustness of VLMs, we can consider something like data augmentation. For example, a data augmentation method called mixgen can generate new image text pairs by interpolating images and concatenating text to preserve semantics, and can be further refined to mitigate distribution shift. Another end-to-end method for creating synthetic images involves extracting text prompts via an image captioning model, then to be used in text-to-image diffusion model, then mixing these with real data sets. There is also a bimodal augmentation technique that decouples objects and attributes to synthesize vision language examples and hard negatives. It uses large language models and an object detector to generate detailed descriptions and invent corresponding images toward the goal of decoupling. Enhancing alignment between the modalities of VLMs can also boost accuracy and robustness. Current techniques include sharing learnable parameters, applying bidirectional constraints, and adjusting cross-modal projections. These methods have shown promise in basic tasks like image text matching and retrieval. However, challenges still persist in addressing the modality gap, which can impact robustness to out-of-distribution data and adversarial examples as well. So as a result, cross-modal alignment remains a valuable research direction. And finally, to improve safety of VLMs, methods like fine-tuning on CAR-ER datasets, developing zero-shot and few-shot patterns for limit data, and integrating chain of thought for improved reasoning can enhance the context awareness of large VLMs. Another method called dual-aligned prompt tuning combines explicit content from pre-trained large language models with implicit modeling to create more context-aware prompts. Uh, Additionally, other researchers have proposed visual in-context learning. So this technique optimizes image retrieval and summarization to enhance certain task-specific interactions. Another approach is automated red teaming. For example, the RT-VLM dataset has benchmarked several VLMs across faithfulness, privacy, safety, and fairness. Meanwhile, the error-light red teaming approach can automate multimodal jailbreak attacks using reinforcement learning and uncovers significant security vulnerabilities. Another dataset contains more than 1,000 harmful questions that have been tested on 11 large language models and vision language models have also been published. The findings of automated red teaming indicate that models like GPT-4 and GPT-4v are more robust against jailbreaks than open source models. with Llama 2 and Quenville chat performing best among them. These studies and approaches also note limited transferability of visual jailbreak methods compared to textual ones. Um, and then finally, there have been different automated red teaming frameworks that can connect unsafe outputs to prompts and to improve the detection of vulnerabilities in text-to-image models. So in conclusion, ensuring the trustworthiness of LLMs is essential as their applications grow in fields like healthcare, finance, and security. This paper has highlighted critical challenges, including accuracy, fairness, safety, and robustness. Future research should adopt a multidisciplinary approach incorporating ethics and social sciences while emphasizing transparency and accountability in model development. Collaboration among researchers, practitioners, and policymakers is crucial for responsible VLM deployment. Ultimately, the enhancement of VLM trustworthiness is a societal necessity that will balance the benefits with potential risk. Here are all of the 52 references that are cited in this representation. For a complete list of references in our work, please, as well as summary figures, please feel free to refer to our paper. If you have any question, please redirect them to the email addresses shown here. Thank you once again for your time.